Hi, hello, how are we? Whoever is watching this today, I hope you have had a great day and I hope you have treated yourself kindly. Now, today I wanted to talk a bit about self-love and self-worth and defining ourselves through how people have treated us and why we shouldn't be doing that. Sounds really long-winded, but I promise it will loop back around and it will all make sense. One thing that I'm realizing as I'm getting older is how crazy it is the amount of time I've spent throughout my life questioning my self-worth and how I view myself because of the way I have been treated in a situation or the actions that someone else has shown in a situation. It is crazy to me to think about how much time I have spent viewing myself not as myself, but how I think other people see me and how worthy I think other people think I am. What is the point in that, first of all? What am I gaining from that? That is so silly. That is not even how they actually perceive me or how anyone that matters in my life actually perceives me. Why have I spent so long looking at myself through those lenses? But on that topic, this year, I jumping straight into the story, baby. Ain't no beating around the bush here. So this year, I was seeing a man pretty casually over summer for like a month, maybe just over a month. It was very casual. It was intended to be a casual thing. Anyway, me and this person, feelings grew, as they often do, and I found myself bang in the middle of a situationship. I had my little thing next to me in bed. I had this man next to me in bed multiple times a week. And I would say that we spent a lot of time intentionally getting to know each other outside of the casual nature of this relationship. This person was going away traveling, literally to the other side of the world, like the other side of the world. I was staying at home, and at that point, we had obviously only been seeing each other, again, mostly casually, for a month. It was not a long period at all. So we get to this point where we are parting ways. It's way too soon to jump into anything. We did not know each other that well yet. And obviously the distance was a factor. So we decided we would stay talking. We would stay in contact. It wasn't exclusive, it wasn't a relationship, we weren't exactly dating, we were still going to stay talking. So he leaves, he goes traveling, we stay in contact. At the start it's great, it's so much fun, it's exciting, we're enjoying staying in contact, and then at a certain point, maybe like a month or so in, I realised that I am starting to now experience negative emotions towards this communication. I was running through all these thoughts in my mind. He is finding more exciting things, he doesn't actually want to talk to me. Oh, he messaged in this tone, he didn't message for this long, and I realised I was sitting in very old thought patterns. That was something I thought I'd move past. This was when I started to realise this connection wasn't good for me. Anyway, I went on a little trip, 3 days. I connected with someone on this trip, and we had a little spontaneous date, and it was lovely, it was beautiful, I didn't feel bad, nothing happened between us. We just went on this date, it was a really good time, and I realised, shit, I'm spending all my time worried about this one person on the other side of the world who I haven't seen at this point in nearly 2 months. I am now feeling guilty about connecting with someone else. But what I also realised was that above these feelings was still all of these negative feelings, me and this other person. I realised that from every angle that I'm looking at this, every experience that I'm looking at this through, I wasn't having many positive thoughts. It was just the nature of what was going on. The silly little situationship on the other side of the world. I realised over the next few days after that, I still had these thought patterns coming up and I knew that I needed to let it go. And so I sent a big fat message, basically just explaining why I was choosing to do this. And I was very honest, very open, sent the message, we ended up cooling. So it ended and we decided no contact was best. 2 weeks later, he then posted another girl on his story. And at this point, I feel like I was very well over him emotionally. I realised that I didn't have the same feelings I had for him. But when he posted this picture, I noticed these emotions stirring up, and I had to sit with myself and ask myself why that was, and I realised it wasn't my current emotions, it wasn't my current feelings, it wasn't how I currently felt in the situation, it was triggers. When I saw he posted this other girl on his story, a matter of weeks after I called things off with him, I found myself questioning, oh, does that mean that I'm not worth what she was worth? I find myself thinking, oh, he thinks that this girl was worth the hard work, but he doesn't think that I was worth the hard work. Does that mean I am not worth the hard work? Does that mean that no one should give me the hard work, that I'm not deserving of that hard work? And then I was like, shut the fuck up, you sound stupid. I am sat in my room by myself, questioning my own worth, questioning how I perceive myself and who I truly am, because one man has decided he didn't want something with me and then had something with another girl. You were sat at home questioning your worth because of how a man is living his life. That has nothing to do with you. And now this man was not adding anything to my life, yet I was still letting his actions have such a big say in how I was currently feeling and perceiving myself. And it was in that moment of me questioning my self-worth that I realised how much time I had spent doing that in my life. And then I thought back and I was like, hey, have any of those moments of me sat alone questioning my self-worth because of how a man has treated me, how a person has treated me, have they ever added anything to my life? Never. It's taken a lot. It has taken so much time from my life, because the time it took to rebuild myself and how I perceive myself and my self-worth back up after experiencing that was so long. It took so long to do, and I'm probably still not fully there. And that's okay. Healing is not linear. Healing is probably going to continue forever. I don't really know. I'm 22. I guess we'll find out. This mindset has taken so much more from me than it has ever given me. Why am I giving it any more time? Now, when these things end, or when you experience these emotions, or when these kind of situations happen, it is so easy to feel like your world is falling apart. Momentarily, it's intense. There's going to be loads of emotions, loads of triggers, and for a moment it will probably feel like your world is falling apart a little bit. And it may be confusing because you might also not have feelings for that person anymore. However, it's still going to hit because of these triggers. But one thing that I would advise you to do that helped me is take the time to sit down, identify what reactions are triggers, identify what reactions are your true current emotions, and process each separately. Acknowledge your triggers, acknowledge why you're responding in this way, what behavior this is bringing up in you, what pattern this is repeating. Sit with that, talk yourself through that, coach yourself through that, go to therapy for that, do whatever you need to do, but get through that, and then take your current emotions, what you are currently feeling presently, and work through those separately. And I promise you, it will be nowhere near as intense as if you just run full throttle without working through any of this. Because I realized in doing this, I actually do not currently have any negative emotions towards the situation. I genuinely wish this man the best. I needed to meet him in that time. I needed to connect like that with someone in that time. He's a beautiful person. I genuinely do at my core wish him the best. However, because of my triggers and because of my trauma and because of my behaviors and these patterns I have that I'm still trying to work through, I found myself really negatively looking towards him, towards this new girl. First of all, it's stupid hating the new girl when she has done nothing to you. She is probably amazing. We probably have so much in common. I cannot hate someone just for caring about something, like a person that I used to care about. She's probably awesome. And again, I genuinely do truly wish him the best at my core. Because of these traumas and triggers, I'm finding myself reacting in ways and feeling ways that I don't want to feel, ways that are negative, ways that aren't adding anything, that aren't productive, ways that aren't making me feel good, aren't making the situation any better. And I realized what I needed to do was step back, identify those triggers, work through those triggers, and suddenly it's not as hard. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not as easy as just brushing them aside. They have still been there in the back of my mind every time it's come to thought. By acknowledging and separating these two things, I found that it was a lot easier to work through the emotions that I felt after seeing that picture. And I realized I have not sat here any longer than in that one moment and questioned my self-worth because of this, because I was able to identify where that thought pattern was coming from. Now, this doesn't mean that it's not still going to hurt. This is a grieving process. It's going to hurt. It's going to sting a little bit. It's going to bring things up that you thought you were over, and that's okay. You don't have to power through everything. You don't need to handle everything perfectly. You're allowed to learn. You're allowed to make mistakes. I do promise you that this way of thinking and perceiving the situation makes it so much easier to manage and so much easier to handle than if you just throw yourself in the deep end and try and tough it out. So, that being said, let yourself grieve and miss this person, but don't let this person's actions or the situation define how you see yourself. You're not put on this earth to try and become who you think everybody wants you to be. You've been put on this earth to be who you are. You are wasting time trying to see yourself through how you think other people see you. There's no truth in that. Put yourself higher. Look at yourself how you truly are and at your core. Work on who you want to be, who you want to become. Nourish yourself, build yourself up, and stop spending the time you could be spending doing that trying to be someone who is worthy to other people. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? You were put on this earth with one life. Don't waste your time worrying about how other people see you. If you're living in those limiting beliefs, you're holding yourself back. You're holding yourself back from so many amazing things. So let yourself grow, let yourself heal, let yourself learn how to handle these situations in a way that's more beneficial to you, and you will come out the other side. You are beautiful, you are divine. Thank you for listening to my ramble. And I would also really appreciate some love on this video. So if you have listened all the way through, thank you. And I would really appreciate if you could drop a like and subscribe, maybe a little comment. But yeah, I look forward to seeing you in the next video.